favorites of DebConf. He's going to talk about, oh, I'm not allowed to have favorites. He's talking about Debian on the Raspberryscape. Thanks, Gunnar.
Thank you. Well, so it's a short talk, and it's an easy topic to cover, fortunately. So, of course, I have to start with this, right? What is a Raspberry? Well, everybody knows that. Unless you have been living under a rock since 2012, as many of my friends have, right? But well, the Raspberries are small form factor, single board computers, which are made to be very cheap. So, well, formally, it's between 5 and 55 US pounds each computer, which makes it available for basically anyone. And originally, these computers were targeted at the educative sector, which makes sense. I mean, it's easier. It's easier first for people not to be afraid of breaking something expensive, and then it is a computer made to expose electronics control and sensing interface. So it has been very, very, very widely used. It sparked a revolution in electronic projects. Suddenly, you just need something that can be bought at almost any corner computer shop. And it defined a form factor and a price range for computers that didn't exist before. And before that, it was quite strange for us, for Debian people, to be in touch with ARM machines. I mean, of course, there were some. Of course, the smartphones were already swarming the market, but they were not hackable. They were not playable with. And now, well, this computer changed basically everything in that sector. So there are 4 families of Raspberry Pis, right? Not all of them as, say, successful, as widely deployed. What I've seen mostly recently is that we tend to be in the 1st and the 3rd families. Of course, the 4th family is very, very new. But they have very important, there's very important differences between them. I will later go a bit more into those details, but the one that is the 1st family of Raspberries that appeared, and the 0 that appeared relatively recently, but using the same chip because it is easy to get and it's very cheap to produce, are ARMv6. That means they are slightly below what we consider the ARM HF architecture. The Raspberry 2 is the 1st one that could run well enough with Debian as it is, with ARMHF, with ARMv7 architecture. And it supported several performance improvements, which made it much more usable to the casual user who was, well, most users started expecting to boot this computer and find a desktop interface for some reason. Then the 3 series is already, well, a full-blown computer, I would say, comparable to current standards, low on memory, but you can do basically anything with it. It's a 64-bit architecture, and well, they started including wireless connectivity. The 0W comes after the 3 was released, so that one also includes wireless, which is also, if we think of these machines as prototyping for making IoT things, well, it's just great. It's made for that. And well, one month ago, the family of 4, model number 4 was announced. That one is still unsupported. I'll talk a bit about it later. But well, it's the 1st one to include up to 4 gigabytes of memory, which is quite interesting. Now, most people use the Raspberries using Raspbian. Raspbian, well, starting for their name, I mean, I cannot say I hate them, because they start by respecting Debian and giving credit. Even their logo is this, Raspberry plus Debian equals Raspbian. And they did it for good reasons, because at the time the original Raspberry was released, Debian would not run there. Again, because it's slightly under what we had already defined as the architecture of ARMHF. Raspbian does include some non-free software. I'm not sure about those details, but I understand it includes bits of Mathematica, Minecraft, and I don't know what more. It's a patched and fully recompiled Debian, so ARMHF can be used in a V6 chip, right? Raspbian does not build a different set of images for the 64-bit able models. But the main thing that required well, a lot of tinkering and still makes this impossible to be considered full Debian support is that these computers require a completely non-free blob just to boot. I mean, when Raspberries are powered on, the chip, the portion of the chip that gets the control is the GPU. And in order to transfer execution to the CPU, some unknown spells have to be cast. If we use, which we can now, regular Debian on ARM v6, it's much, much, much slower because as it doesn't support a hardware floating point, it emulates it. So using Debian on their smaller family is, I don't think I would recommend it, although, well, I do it. Well, that's it for this slide. The person who did most of the job I am presenting now is Michael Stapelberg. In late 2016, he packaged the Raspberry firmware originally, and he was targeting only the family 3. And of course, it is uploaded to non-free, and that cannot change. It has been quite an active package. It has had close to 20 uploads in 2.5 years. And well, what I think now is that next upload that we make, we will rename it to Raspi firmware because it works for the other two architectures. The good news that are still unconfirmed, but there are several suspicions that it may be the case, is that the new family, the Raspberry 4, has enough non-volatile RAM and will not require this blob to boot. Then, the other part of this is what to do about it. I mean, the user expectation for the Raspberries is what people have got used to, is to download an image and upload and burn it to an SD card and boot, and that's it. Not going through an installer. And I think it makes sense not to go through Debian installer, although some people have requested me to build Debian installer image. If I have time, I will try to do it. But the thing is, the images we are building are ready to be booted with very, very little modifications I can soon describe. The way we're building this is with VMDB2, which is a large Virginius tool replacing VM the bootstrap. They are based on a quite easy to follow and understand YAML definition file. And it takes close to 20 minutes on my computer to build an image. In fact, I was planning to do this presentation from the Raspberry, but the thing is, this university has active content filtering, and it curbed some packages. So my images were borked, and I could not boot, but I could not finish building them. Well, so I wanted to announce, and I now notice a typo there. I wanted to announce here that we now fully support Debian in the full Raspberry lineup, but they just announced a new model, and we don't support it yet. So we're almost covering the full line. The hardware support seems to be incomplete, of course. Who says this? I know only the software side. I never done electronics project, so I need people to test whether the needed interfaces are there, whether the I2C bus and I don't know, all of the things are part of our mainline kernel. The good thing is that we're just shipping the mainline ARML or ARMHF or ARM64 kernels, and they just work. I I have noticed that the 0W does not yet show the wireless interface. I will be working on it, and it should be supported soon. But other than that, I have not found non-supported hardware. And of course, where did I put the images? Well, as they are completely unofficial, they are just in my people.debian.org thingy. And well, I will have to find a better scheme to place them, because they are like, the name is time-stamped, so it may be hard to refer to, but let's see about this later. So, well, Michael Stapelberg made this, both parts of the project, and approximately a year ago, shortly before DebConf, he announced he would be dropping it, and well, I adopted. I have got lots of help from Romain Perrier, who is a DM, and knows much better the kernel part of this than me. So he was instrumental in getting this to work on models 1 and 2. We're still calling this unofficial preview images. I think I will drop the preview now, I mean, coming the next version I upload, because it is like a Buster preview, and now this runs in Buster without importing anything from experimental, as it was in the past and that. So they will still be unofficial because they include non-free software. But I think this is safe to refer users to. I think this is a good way to just tell them, okay, just use Debian. If you have a 64-bit machine, you will have full 64-bit capabilities. If you want to use Raspbian, well, this is the differences you will find. But I want Debian to be available as it is. I want to find a way to, I mean, I have the 4 models on me. At some point, I asked the DPL maybe for some funding to make myself a lab for testing this, but I already have it, so I will not be needing that. And I want to come up with a way to properly test the rough bits to make sure everything is kept supported. Want to be working on automated building of the images, and well, of course, I want to get the Raspberry 4 supported. I heard rumors that important bits for it have reached the 5.2 Linux kernel, so it's possible that we will have a Buster plus something release soonish. So again, well, I have to thank Michael, Romain, and Lars for, well, coming up with everything. I'm just somehow integrating. And first for coming up with the ideas, and then for a lot of support in getting me to understand the full thing we're doing. And well, that's it for me. I'll be happy to try to answer. Of course, I know I have strong limitations when it comes to answering on this topic, but thanks a lot.
Thank you. Are there questions? On their way. While they're on their way, I know from my limited knowledge this has always been a big issue. So well done to you and your team for making it more free almost. Yeah.
So first of all, thank you very much for all your work in doing this. I'm looking forward to moving the Pis that I'm using onto semi-unofficial and perhaps hopefully soon official images within Debian. You were saying at the moment you're producing images and linking them from the wiki. I suspect, because I've got Steve stood behind me, he might be the right person to answer this question. Can we perhaps build them on Debian official infrastructure so they become official Debian images, even if they are non-free?
Right, I will be very happy to do it. I mean, I have been doubting it because I don't know of any other Debian image that has the official not naming it and carries non-free, but I'll be happy to discuss.
So that is a problem. We will not have official images including non-free stuff. That
Right.
is a is a hard line. However, we do also build regularly on our on our central infrastructure. We do build some images including non-free, whether that's install images or live images. Would you like to be in the images team?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll make that happen and we can get it sorted.
Oh, what have I done?
Correct me if I'm completely wrong. I have a vague bit set that somebody has done some kind of reverse engineered blobule. Are you doing anything about that?
As far as I could read about it, but it was some time ago, there was a started effort to get those machines to boot without the official non-free image. I did not find anything pointing to ongoing work, and as far as I understood, it stalled. But I will be very, very happy to find it's no longer the case.
Okay, great, thank you. If there's somebody who's listening to this who is interested in or knows something about that, please get in touch with us all.
In fact, I might be able to put you in touch with exactly the right people.
Thank you very much.
Is there more questions? I don't see anything from RC. Right, well received. Thank you very much,
you.
to you all.